Hey everyone, happy Halloween, happy Friday, happy new Lego day for this guy. Took me roughly about 80 shards to get Gaspard the Accused, but I got him. Kind of fun. This is really just a mess around champ for me now. Uh, I'm kind of pumped to see what I could do with them and really just have some fun. Uh, To me, he kind of screams like a Hydra champ, but he'll definitely mess around with my Undead Horde and Faction Wars. Uh, even Doom Tower. I have him. I'm well ahead of champ training, so that's fine. I I really just want to do a hard stop on him, but I am having some excess energy, so I'm bringing him in through Minnow as well. But since I'm here, let's talk. Well, hang on here. Producing on the fly, as they say. Have him with a relic, with a talon, just to get more crit damage out of him and HP. He is 5-star. He's not blessed. Have him crit capped. Have some decent crit damage on him. A 312 accuracy for those Chicago people, you know. Uh, that used to be the area code for downtown before it branched off to a few other area codes. But yeah, 312, solid beer by Goose Island as well. But I digress. Here's his stats 3,500 defense, which really needs to go up. His HP's kind of poor, but I'll do better. I have him in 9-piece feral. Some of the stuff is fine. I could really crank this up to get some more speed. Uh, yeah, I really don't want to use glyphs when there's not a CVC. I always want to double dip, if triple dip, whatever. But I have him in 9-piece feral, and it's kind of a toss up because what I could do a protection set on him, I could do a feral set on him, and and honestly, it's kind of like why? Why would you want to do that? Well, let's go through his kit. First one, uh, an AoE has a 50% chance of placing decrease attack and a weaken. Okay, cool. Would have been awesome, like stupidly awesome, if this was decrease defense and weaken, but I get it. Bumps up to 75% once he's fully booked. Okay. Another AoE, placing a provoke. 100% on a 3-turn once fully booked. So right there, we have 3 potential debuffs. We do have 2 buffs that we could toss on ourselves, which is an increased defense and a shield. The shield's based on his proportional to his defense. Okay, cool. Should be pretty up there. Again, if we want damage, the more defense we get, the more shield we get. That's pretty simple. Um, okay. Attacking one enemy, he's ignoring 25% of target's defense. Cool. Ignoring life barrier, poison cloud, shield, and block damage. So basically anything that Hydra could get their hands on. Okay. If target was killed, revives a random dead ally with 50 HP and 50 turn meter. Okay. It's also going to ignore a block revive. So Lydia sucks to suck. And he also places a block revive. Uh, 3-turn cooldown. So he's a 1/3/3 champ. Okay. Whenever he kills an enemy or decapitates a Hydra head, fills the turn meters of all allies by a quarter, and then heals them by a quarter of their max HP. So I mean, it's very conditional. Like, as we progress through Hydra, we really don't get too many deaths, but this is a nice failsafe. Like, hey, oh shit, died randomly, and rather than restarting, like this guy could kick in and help you out. Okay, cool. It's only when he kills, so you kind of tiptoe, but that makes sense. And then here, the master wills it. The other passive, whenever an enemy is revived, instantly activates You Stand Accused, which is the A3, where he ignores basically some crowd control. And then if multiple enemies are revived, the initial target of the revive will be targeted. So, okay, fine. A free A3 kicks in. Um, has a 50% uh, of doing this when an ally is killed. Okay, cool. Instantly activates a A3 against a Hydra head whenever an ally is consumed by that head. This is a never-ending passive, but it's pretty sweet, man. Basically, just a free A3 to try to kill, and then potentially revive. There's no cooldown on this, so that's really snazzy. That's always on. Kind of cool on that one. Way to go. Uh, I I I dig it. How often is that going to hit in Hydra? Not that often. Is it going to hit in PvP? I mean, chances are. This guy's kind. I don't know if I would be really bringing him into PvP. He definitely needs to get tankier. Like I definitely need to beef him up because right now, not the greatest. Like he's just fun and he's new. He's shiny, but I don't know if I would bring him in PvP right now, but I got time. I'm waiting for another CVC, waiting for another champ training, something to really, really get him going. But he's going to stay at 5 stars for a bit. Um, it's cool that he has this ability that he could do at any time, um, whenever anybody's revived or when one of our dudes gets killed. That's awesome. I enjoy those passives that are always on and there's no skill cooldown. So that's snazzy. You know, an AoE, another AoE, so have him in a hex. Um, that'd be snazzy. Just because there's a whole lot of damage there. So kind of cool. With that said, I have him in a somewhat of a damage build as and an accuracy build. So I mentioned before about those buffs and those debuffs. He has the potential to put out 3 debuffs that provoke, the decrease attack, and the weaken. So that's snazzy. He has 2 buffs that he could put out there, the shield and what's that other one? Is that the increased defense? Yeah. So you kind of want to it depends about your team composition here. If you want him as a debuffer, you definitely want to go down the support and do that up. You know, like Arcane Celerity is a good one. If you're going to use him as a debuffer, you could also use him as a buffer and kind of crank these out, right? So, okay, like you got yourself a choice to make. And I mean, like, this isn't going to increase provoke or anything like that. So I think eventually I'm going to go down here just to potentially increase the duration of a shield and increase defense. Those are 2 relatively common buffs. So I it's fine for me to do that. I it is what it is. So that's fine. So so I'm going to do Cycle of Magic, but I was hemming and hawing on this just to I don't think he's going to do 30%. So I don't know how often Cycle of Violence would hit. And Wrath of the Slain kind of makes sense because you want to do more damage. This way he could potentially revive someone. Kind of makes sense. Um, if I do Wrath of the Slain here, then I would have to do increasing the speed here. I'd have to do Spirit Haste to get to Lasting Gifts. I would also, ideally, I'd want these 2. You see, this is a conundrum that we have. Like, I have them. Ideally, I'm having them in Hydra, right? So like, I want that max HP hit, dealing more damage when attacking targets with max HP, with higher max HP. So I want that for sure. And I want Wrath of the Slain. But then if I do want Lasting Gifts, I'm going to have to forego one of these. Like Kill Streak, am I bringing him in Arena and Siege? I could. Is that his optimal use? No. So I think I'm going to go Wrath of the Slain here. And then I'm going to do Methodical. Although Shield does work. This would be a decent shield. And then I could go, no matter what, I'm going to go Helm Smasher. So, yeah. Yeah. That's how I'm going to go Methodical and Blood Shield. I'm going to forego the Kill Streak. And then I'm also going to go with Spirit Haste. So, okay, Spirit Haste, Methodical, Blood Shield, and eventually get my way to Helm Smasher. The other alternative here is that I could do Oppressor, where I increase my turn meter by 10% in Hydra when I do those debuffs. Or 7 or yeah, 5% because there's 2 on the A1. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna go Helm Smasher. Yeah, Frankie wants to say hi. Come here. Up. Yeah, hi, buddy. Yeah, that's how I'm gonna do that. I have Talon out here. I I enjoy it, and then I have this gemstone. He's ignoring 3% if there's 2 or more debuffs on that target. That just makes sense. Like triangle's I think it's my weakest gemstone area, so I think that's fine. I could do Cat's Gaze on him, but right now he's only a 5-star. I'll wait. I was thinking about the Dragonstone here because he is going to have Provoke, and more defense the better. You know, I think that's a potential as well. I'm not discounting that, but for right now, I'm just going to do the Talon. I could do Journal, but but really the only turn meter he provides is just when he revives, and that's very conditional. So I don't really like that idea. Yeah, yeah. Let's just do that already. Yeah, so that's how for right now, version 1.0. I do have a different set on them. I had Pinpoint on them, and really, I don't like it. You know, from a damage build, this is very weak. Like 2750 defense, half my crit rate, a little bit more crit damage, and then less accuracy. That isn't that isn't. I'm not digging that. So didn't go for that. And honestly, with Pinpoint, I don't have the best gear set, and I don't necessarily need Intercept. Like Intercept against Hydra doesn't necessarily matter. This is really just going for that, the one-offs here. So I and I really don't want to take it off too many people. Like Odin, I'm taking speed boots from, and my Pinpoint really not that good. I also have protection because I was thinking about that shield, and like that could be kind of fun. I don't think it's that bad. Um, I could do a feral and protection. I'm not crit capped, and I really don't want to take it off too many others as well. Leo, I'm still kind of using, so it's okay. Like not again with the accuracy and stuff like that. That's why I kind of want to stick with Farrell. Uh, it's decent. Like it's a it's a decent build. 292, 100 crit capped, 223, and a 312 accuracy. I think that's fine. Y- You know, I I do have a banner that I would like to put on him. Da, 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 da. You know, to, I don't really use Vulcanin too much, so that basically gets me to like 408 um, accuracy. Another 30 speed, 218 defense. I don't think that's that bad. I'm okay with it. It just sucks that there's some attack in there, but I would have loved HP, but this is fine. Um, but yeah, and that gets me the 9, and they deal more damage. So he's a team player. He's a team player. So I think that's good. And then I could definitely, you know, add some more potions to him, and he could be very serviceable. But I'll mess around with him offline, or you could find me on Twitch messing around with him. Gnome on my Chomsky. Frankie does not have a Twitch just yet, but I'm sure that she would love to play games with you too. I will let you know when that happens. But until then, thanks for hanging out.